In the stillness of Gethsemane, a disciple named Judas stands, his heart heavy with a choice that will echo through history. This is the story of Judas Iscariot, the apostle whose name became synonymous with treachery, yet whose journey reveals the fragility of human choice. From a trusted disciple to the one who betrayed the Messiah, Judas's life is a cautionary tale of greed, remorse, and lost redemption. Let's step into the shadows to uncover the story of Judas Iscariot, the disciple who broke the circle of the 12. Before Jesus, Judas Iscariot was likely from Kerioth in Judea. His surname possibly a corruption of the Latin Sicarius, meaning assassin, hinting at ties to the Sicarii, a radical Jewish group known for their violent resistance against Roman rule. This background suggests Judas may have been a man of zeal, perhaps expecting a political messiah to lead a rebellion. Judas was pragmatic, calculating, and perhaps ambitious, with a sharp mind, but a heart that wrestled with darker impulses, as later events would reveal. Judas joined Jesus around 30 AD, called as one of the 12, as noted in Matthew 10. How he met Jesus isn't detailed, but he was drawn into the same movement as the others, witnessing Jesus' miracles and teachings. In John 6:70, Jesus says, "Did I not choose you, the 12? And yet one of you is a devil," hinting at Judas' future betrayal even early on. Despite this, Judas was trusted enough to handle the group's finances, a role mentioned in John 12:6, though it also notes he sometimes stole from the moneybag. Why did Judas follow Jesus? At first, he may have been inspired by Jesus' vision of a new kingdom, possibly hoping for a political messiah who would overthrow Rome and bring power to his followers. But as Jesus emphasized a spiritual kingdom, Judas's disillusionment grew. Jesus taught him alongside the others, parables of forgiveness, lessons on serving the poor, but Judas's heart drifted. John 12:4 shows him criticizing a woman's costly offering to Jesus, revealing his greed and disconnect from Jesus' values. At the Last Supper, a pivotal moment unfolded. Jesus handed Judas bread, saying, "What you're going to do quickly," as the Gospel of John recounts. Some accounts suggest Satan entered Judas at that moment. But was this betrayal driven by evil, greed, or something deeper? Judas later went to the chief priests, agreeing to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, a paltry sum for a man's life. The betrayal came in the Garden of Gethsemane after the Last Supper. Judas, armed with a guard provided by the priests, identified Jesus with a kiss, calling him Master. This act, both intimate and treacherous, set Jesus' arrest in motion. The Gospels paint Judas's motive as avarice, but could there have been more? Some scholars wonder if Judas, possibly disillusioned by Jesus' rejection of political revolt, hoped to force his hand, believing a confrontation would spark a rebellion. When Jesus was crucified, Judas was nowhere near the cross. Overcome with guilt, he tried to return the silver, confessing, "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood." But the priests rejected him, and in despair, Judas threw the coins into the temple. He didn't witness the resurrection. His story ends before that hope. He hanged himself. He fell headlong, his body bursting open, a grim end to his betrayal. Judas left no missionary legacy, replaced by Matthias among the 12. But his story didn't end with his death. Early Christian traditions, like those from Papias in the 1st century, describe his demise in macabre detail, emphasizing divine judgment. In Dante's Inferno, Judas is cast into the deepest pit of hell, chewed by Satan alongside Brutus and Cassius, a symbol of ultimate betrayal. Yet not all portrayals condemn him. The 2nd century Gospel of Judas, a Gnostic text discovered in the 1970s, paints him as Jesus' confidant, the only apostle who truly understood his message. In this account, Jesus asks Judas to betray him, freeing his spiritual self from his material body. These conflicting narratives force us to ask, Was Judas a villain, a victim, or a necessary part of a greater plan? Thank you for joining us on this journey through Judas's life. Subscribe for the next episode. Until then, keep seeking, keep sharing, and keep the faith.